Hello everybody, Zeidoktor here, and this episode of the Typical Manga Review is going to be dedicated to One Piece, chapter 849, Chobro in the Mirror World. But even before we get into the chapter proper, we get a nice little thing going here of Jump's actual magazine cover, which features a whole bunch of the characters dressed as from other series dressed as One Piece characters. I don't know all the Jump series well enough that I did tell you who everybody is, but the ones I can easily tell you are Soma from Food Wars, and Midoriya from Hero Academia as Sanji. The Midoriya one is very appropriate given recent developments in that series. It looks like Emma from Promised Neverland as Chopper. A couple of guys here as Frankie. A couple of male characters as Robin, probably just because of the face and the nose. Those are really the only ones I really recognize. I think there's a couple of characters from the new series, like Galazzo, and another one I don't know the name of there as Usopp and Brook. But anyway, the actual cover of this the chapter itself is Brook at the Tadpole Pond from Super Mario RPG. For those who don't understand the old reference, it's basically Brook at a tadpole pond where the tadpoles are forming musical notes. Alright. In the actual chapter itself, we're at the Vinsmoke guest room. The brothers are wondering where Reiju is, but it's like they aren't really sure. They just saw her leave a little while ago, and they're on the topic of where we're putting in Sanji will live after the ceremony. Judge declares that of course they're going to be living on Gerima. If we don't take the girl as a hostage, who knows what they'll start demanding of us in the future. Remember that we're dealing with pirates here. Aren't you worried that they'll try a similar tactic on us, though? Of course, Ichiji, I think, is the one. I can never remember which is which, but it points out that that particular tactic is kind of pointless with them, since the one that they would be threatening here is Sanji. I mean, that wouldn't bother them at all. This is another chapter. Ooh, here we go. We cut from there to Brulee's house, which is located in the Mirror World, where her powers are. They're getting ready to make a stew out of Carrot, who's tied above the pot and also seems to be croaking like a rough frog, which more on that in a second. Everyone's like, of course, as we learn here, that Chopper actually is like planned for this whole thing. It's declaring that Brulee just dug her own grave. The frog is actually one of the animals that was changed into, whose appearance was changed to look like Carrot earlier. Like because of Brulee's powers, like early when they like and that's the Carrot that's actually tied above the pot. It's just a frog that looks like Carrot. The real Carrot is directly above there in the attic, and providing the dialogue. Of course, Chopper doesn't know that it's a frog. He kind of feels bad for having to be cooked alive, so they actually make a plan. So he takes note of who's around them right now. There are 16 enemies around them. The most troublesome looking ones, besides Brulee, Randolph the Rabbit, the Noble Croc, and some chimney looking dude named Diesel. And just as they're getting ready to send the frog into the pot, that's when Carrot makes her move. So she attacks, gets Randolph in an attack, and she actually jumps in and saves the frog. Properly related note that there are two little bunny girls. She kicks over the pot that they're about to be stewed in, spills it all over the floor, and sends hot boiling water all over Brulee. Chopper himself goes to Brain Point and gets out of the chains. Sounds down in a rumble ball. And everyone's freaking out. They can save Brulee from the boiling water. But before they can do that, Carrot goes Bioshock and all that and just sends an electro ball right into like the puddles of water that they're all standing in. Meanwhile, Monster Chopper grabs the Noble Croc by the tail and uses him to body slam everybody else that Carrot did not get. And at that, they pretty much taken out almost every enemy there except for Diesel, who cranks his wheels and gets the hell out of there. But it's rather pointless because Carrot is very fast herself. And all she has to do is cover his eyes and wait for him to crash. It's actually pretty funny, actually. So with that, Brulee and all of her servants are taken out, and the frog is okay. He's just sitting there riveting. Yay. And with that, with Brule down and out, Chopper declared that they are now able to travel to the island of these mirrors. They can pretty much travel at will. Let's go find everyone. At Sanji's room, Sanji getting a report that Luffy and Nami are being held captive, and the ones currently going on a rampage are a male mink and Brook. Sanji kind of cuts him off there. It's like he just wants to know where the ingredients he's asked for are. Because if you're angry, how about you eat? Like, he just has some improviso, but Sanji's basically going to be using the kitchen. He noted that Pudding never showed up to that lunch meeting that she promised him, and I'm worried about it, so I'm going to cook her some food. Apparently, yes, he is actually feeling under the weather. Back in the treasure room, Brook has taken out almost all the opposition and gotten the keys he needs. But, I came here telling my partner in crime to risk his life. I simply must gain something worthy in return, in order to avoid a complete loss of face. Then he suddenly gets mad. Who says I have no face to lose in the first place? Yo ho ho ho. Anyway, at this point, he has to hurry, so he's actually getting into the cage with the road pointing glyph in it. But before this can go much further, a Big Mom appears, and basically, like, where Brook had locked everybody out, he just smashes through the door. So who's the idiot who thinks it's a good idea to highlight of my day during the wedding? And Brook's actually surprised that Big Mom herself is right there. He's like, hey, would you look at that? That's one interesting creature I see up there. And at a courtyard within the chateau, everybody's chasing down Pedro. And he's now come face to face with Baron Tamago. And Baron Tamago's like, despite being enemies, I've always respected you as a powerful opponent. Captain Pedro, captain of the Nox Pirates. Every time we would see each other, the scars on our left eyes would both begin to itch. And apparently both Baron Tamago and Pedro have their scars over their eyes from that fight. But Tamago's like, it was only a mere 5 years ago when you were still a man who was incredibly attached to the idea of staying alive. So why must you repeat the same mistake? It's clear you don't have much time left. On that day, Mama took 50 years of your regular lifespan. And Pedro's like, is well aware of that fact, and declares he has no intention of returning to his home country alive. And then finally, elsewhere, the chapter ends on the site of Reiju, who's apparently stumbling through Whole Cake Chateau, bleeding and injured. And we have no idea why. So not quite sure what's going on there for sure. He's just really banged up for some unknown reason. Which suggests either a new player that we have not seen yet, or Pudding has something that we have not seen yet, which is entirely possible. Because he's the only other player that's not accounted for in this whole thing. And with the chapter ending there, the very first thing I think of here is that Judge is declaring that they're going to take Pudding with them and use her as a hostage against Big Mom. He cannot be the first person who thought of trying this. So I'm very interested to see what Big Mom has to counter him with. And come to think of it, there's also the fact that they're having the discussion around the homies, which are literally Big Mom, like pieces of her soul in these things. That's like, they're pretty much ready-made spies everywhere in the kingdom that answer to her. And gotta feel sorry for Brook though. He's actually getting ready to get the road pointing glyph, only for Big Mom to just crash the party. So he's in the middle of he's got problems. Chopper and Carrot are definitely in position to start wrecking stuff. So that'll be awesome. Oh, you know what? That just occurred to me. I wonder if that's what happened to Jinbei. Like, he's been rendered, well, losing his lifespan doesn't seem to change their actual age going by Pedro, so never mind. I was thinking maybe it'd be like a Hody thing where they got turned into like an old man or something. But that wouldn't apply here. Perhaps lifespan from his soldiers, though, that might do it. From his crew. But, actually, I wonder now if Jinbei was the one who hurt Reiji. I mean, I don't know why that would happen, but it's a possibility. Like I said, we just don't know what happened to Reiju at all. We don't have enough to go on. It's just a pre-holiday cliffhanger. No sign of Luffy or Nami this week, so they're presumably still in the book and trying to talk Pudding out of whatever she's got planned. Poor oblivious Sanji, though. He's trying to keep the Straw Hats out of his mind and trying to focus on Pudding, but she's doing stuff that's gonna make him worry too. Alright. Still, one thing that occurred to me as well is that Chopper won this fight with a combination of brains and brawn. That seems to be like his thing. Like, yeah, Luffy and Zoro or Sanji can be clever. It's not that he's the most intelligent of those particular three. But Chopper tends to win his fights with a combination of the two. Like, he actually had a full-on plan to trick them into becoming vulnerable. So, good on you, Chopper. Good work, buddy. And like I said, I even rescued the frog. So good on them too. So this hopefully means that Brule is down for the count until they're ready to actually do something later. So now to see what Chopper is going to do here. Like, my own little prediction on this is Chopper and Carrot will, of all people, find Caesar. And Carrot, being the naive one that she is and not realizing that Caesar is actually a bad guy, will insist on saving Cedar, which is the name he was going by on Zoe. And Chopper won't really have, maybe due to time or maybe because they can actually use him, will be unable to actually refuse that. So, that's my prediction for what they're going to be up to. I wonder if Brook was able to do anything with the Poneglyph before Big Mom charged in, though. Because she's not going to be happy with the fact that Brook is trying to get that of all things. Let's see here. And that thing with Sanji, something I kind of discussed on the board here and there as well. Like, basically, like, people were wondering if Judge would eventually try to betray Big Mom, and I figured it was likely because what does he have to lose? I mean, he gets whatever he wants out from Big Mom, and then if he returns on her, the worst he risks is Sanji. Granted, I think we can all figure that that's going to be even worse than that by the time we're all done here, but in his mind, that's all he stands to lose, and he doesn't care about losing it. See here. Sorry, I'm just trying to think if there's anything else I need to bring up here. But yeah, like, we're definitely getting some action moving along here. Like I said, everybody's in action right now. Like, we've actually got a nice little bit of Chopper and Carrot like doing their thing. I wonder now if we're gonna see a fight between Pedro and Tamago, especially since Big Mom seems to have already closed in on Brook. I mean, the way this is going, like I said, it definitely seems like Chopper's going to be the one who rescues everybody, because he's kind of in. Because I said this about Pudding, but Chopper as well is the Straw Hat, at least he's in prime screw up the works mode here. Because he basically has he can basically access Brulee's mirrors with impunity. Now that Brule herself is down for the count. Don't know how long that will be for, because she seemed to get up before when when Nami took her out before, but you never know. Also, I noticed that Chopper seemed to be on his feet again right after he used Monster Point, so maybe he's getting better at that. Or maybe just because he used it for such a short period. Either way. Either way, it's a good sign. I mean, he's not like having as troublesome with it as he was before. But yeah, I think with that, we're good to call this chapter. Like, this is definitely a good, like, get things into position chapter, like I said, with getting everybody into place here for the next bit. There's no, as far as I'm aware, there's no jump next week, so we won't have to worry about any chapters at all until a couple weeks from now. But I'll try and find something to kind of keep stuff up on here in the meantime. Until then, this has been Zeidoktor. This has been One Piece, chapter 849. Chobro in Mirrorland, or in the Mirror World. I don't know how is going to translate that exactly. But until then, bye-bye.